So I was invited as a guest speaker to deliver a lecture as a part of 5 days faculty development program organized by Department of Clinical Embryology and Reproductive Genetics, Origin Life by Right Bharat University on the topic Future of Embryology, New Guidelines by ICMR. So myself, I'm Attuluri Vamsi Kumar. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Medical Lab Technology, Chandigarh University. So I was delivered this lecture on 23rd 12 2023. So I would like to cover all these aspects in this lecture, and it will be really interesting. And yeah, we will explore many new aspects about this domain called embryology. So I will discuss about its introduction, its evolution, the ICMR's role, the new guidelines of ICMR, their key aspects, technological advancements in embryology, some of the ethical considerations, some few case studies, and future of embryology will be discussed in this lecture, and it will be really interesting. So stay tuned. So coming to the very interesting topic. So can anyone guess who is this cute kid? So this kid eventually will become the father of nation. So this young man, this youth will become a father of nation. He is our Mahatma Gandhiji. So yes, as the Nobel Peace Prize winner Nelson Mandela said, the youth of today are leaders of tomorrow. So today's youth will be the tomorrow's leaders, right? So and it is our responsibility to have the kids in the safe hands, and it is our responsibility to safeguard the children, to protect them, and to ensure that they are healthy, fit for that future. So coming to current aspects, so these are the kids, right? So because of our modern day lifestyle, there are many issues especially concerned with infertility. So infertility happening because of our food, our environment, everything has been contaminated, everything has been polluted, and this causing rising concerns over infertility. Most of the parents, they're unable to conceive because of all these lifestyle parameters. So as an so we need to protect these children, right? So how to protect these children, right? If we are not protecting, we might miss the next Newton, the next Mahatma Gandhi, the next Einstein, or the next Nelson Mandela might be not possible without protecting the youth. So protecting the youth is one of our primary right to do it, right? Yeah. So coming to protection of children, so there are many health we various fields of healthcare professionals, we are working on protecting these children, like biomedical researchers are working on research aspects of fertility, geneticists working on inherited disorders, reproductive endocrinologists trying to achieve the conceiveness and the maintaining of hormones to maintain the gestation period in the woman, and a gynecologist will ensure that the delivery will be there will be a safe delivery, and stem cell researchers will act on the the stem cell aspects of these fertility issues, and the embryologist. So out of these many domains, there is so much confusion about whose role is what and where does the embryologist fit in this domain. So I would like to give a overview of embryologist's role in healthcare, especially in pediatrics and this reproductive medicine. So yeah, so embryologists are primarily concerned, they will work with the genetic material, they will involve in the human reproduction, they will integrate reproductive medicine, they will conduct medical research, they will focus especially on the early development of the fetus. Embryologists are the specialists who will ensure that the embryo is fit for the growth. The embryo will eventually become a full grown baby. That is the primary aspects of the embryologist. Without an embryo, there is no role of gynecologist. Gynecologist can only deliver, right? They will more concerned about delivering the baby, right? So when they can deliver, when the fetus is in the healthy state. So embryologists mainly focus on the early stage of the development, especially on the first trimester of the pregnancy. From starting from the conceiving to the first trimester of pregnancy, they will ensure the fetal status, right? Whereas geneticists will dealt with any inherited disorders to the baby, whereas reproductive endocrinologist will ensure that the hormonal there are right hormonal levels in the during the gestation period in the woman, and the biomedical researchers will tackle some of the unknown and unsolved mysteries in this domain, whereas stem cell researchers will work on similar aspects of this domain. But if you see this table, that the embryologist playing a vital role to maintain the pregnancy, to maintain a healthy embryo or a healthy zygote that can eventually lead to a embryo. So this is the primary role of the embryologist uh, when comparing to the related medical professionals. So let me discuss about the role of embryologists in the trimesters, in the pregnancy time. So you can see here that the embryologist will actively work on achieving embryo either by assisted reproductive technologies. It can be IVF, okay, in vitro fertilization. So they are primarily concerned and they will work in the area of fertilization, especially to the infertile or infertility couples, right? And also they will ensure that the embryo will be developed properly. They will ensure the fetal development, especially in the first trimester to second trimester. If there is any issue in the development of fetus, it is the embryologist who will decide whether we need to progress to have a delivery or we need to abort this particular fetus. So the some of the important decisions will be taken by the embryologist. Then coming to the preparation of birth. So here there won't be any direct involvement by the embryologist, but the preparation of birth will be moreover taken by the gynecologist. So this is the role of embryologist. So yeah, so what is this assisted reproduction technology? So assisted reproducing technology means here we are trying to achieve, we are trying to help the couples in order to achieve a successful pregnancy to the woman, right? So this can be achieved by various methods such as in vitro fertilization, artificial insemination, or surrogacy methods, right? In vitro fertilization means we will take the healthy sperm and ovum and we will fertilize it in a petri dish, and upon successfully ensuring that it is has been fertilized, we will keep this into the woman's womb and it will proceed to a developed baby. Okay, it will progress to the fetus period. Then artificial insemination. So sometimes due to some penial issues in the males, so we need to intervene and we need to give a insemination artificially. So that is the artificial insemination. Compared to IVF, artificial insemination is comparatively less cost. Then surrogacy. If the woman cannot, if the woman unable to bear a pregnancy, if there are any issues with the uterus lining or any issues with the woman that cannot sustain a healthy 9 months gestation period, in that cases we can keep the egg and sperm in a third person. Okay, the third person can be stated as a surrogacy. So it is another woman that carries the baby of the couples that we intended, right? So this technique is called as the surrogacy. So these are the major domains of the assisted reproduction technology. So coming to the basic definition of embryology. So embryology is a branch of biology that studies the development of gametes, their fertilization, development of embryos and fetuses. Additionally, it also encompasses on the study of congenital disorders that occur before the birth. So even congenital disorders will be addressed by embryologists. So some of the key processes in embryology include studying the gametogenesis, that means the formation of gametes. It can be either ovum or sperm, and the fertilization, zygote formation, embryonic development, and fetal development will be studied in the embryology. What is the significance of embryology? So the significance is to understand embryological development is crucial for insights into human development, genetic disorders, and potential treatments can be understood well when we understand the fetal development or by studying the embryology, right? So what is the importance of embryology in medicine? So embryology is the foundation in reproductive health. Embryology will play a pivotal role in fertility treatments and understanding the reproductive health, significantly aiding in the assisted reproductive technologies such as IVF. And it will give insights into the developmental disorders. If there is any developmental disorders, we can able to understand them very well with the help of this embryology. Advancements in the genetics can be well understood with the help of embryology. Stem cell research can be progressed to regenerative medicine, and other tissue engineering and cell engineering can be studied by embryology. And also ethical guidance. So ethical guidance will be addressed by the embryology. This I will discuss further in the next slides. So evolution of embryology, a brief history about how this embryology has been evolved. So it has a very ancient roots coming dated back to up to Aristotle. So Aristotle, they thought that Aristotle made a observation that how a chicken came from egg. Maybe egg has some embryos. So he said that if you warm the egg for almost 21 days, that 21 days is gestation period, and
In this period, the embryo has been developed into a chicken, into a chick. So this is his observations. Then there is this Renaissance advances, Renaissance period. During this time, we got a legend by the name of Leonardo da Vinci. We already know what he did. We all know about Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa has been drawn by this Leonardo da Vinci. He has extensively studied the human anatomy, especially the cadavers of a pregnant woman. So he used to bring the cadavers of the pregnant woman and he used to study those cadavers, and he has fascinated by seeing the embryos within a woman. By the way, he didn't marry, but he's so fascinated about how these embryos are developed in the woman, and he has depicted some of the most beautiful diagrams of embryos in the body. You can see here, right? So yeah, then we came microscopic era, where we started to understand our Anton van Leeuwenhoek. So he observed the sperms and he said them as animal clues, right? So right after microscopic era, we started understanding uh, the reproduction and fertility at the level of microscope by observing the sperms. And in the 19th century, we got this Schwann theory, and there are many theories that are supporting the embryonic understanding. And coming to the 20th century, 20th century is all about the molecular genetics advancements, and also IVF and stem cell research has been progressed to the cutting edge technologies in the 20th century. And I want to show you one of the huge advancement in the 20th century that happened in 1980, 1978. Okay, so the first birth of IVF baby, Miss Louise Brown. So the lovely Louise, they used to say. So she is the first one that has been born with this technique called IVF, in vitro fertilization. So she has been, technically she was born on a petri dish first, then she went into the mother womb, right? So yeah, today she is alive and she is healthy, and she is 45 years old today. So the birth of Louise Brown showcases the advancements and the bright scope of embryology, by the way, right? Then coming to the era of CRISPR, the era of genome editing. So we already know what is CRISPR. This is clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats Cas9 system, CRISPR Cas9. Okay, so what is this CRISPR? So CRISPR is a gene editing tool that can precisely cut genes in the very specific location. We can say that CRISPR is like a Word document. We can precisely edit whatever genes we need in the human genome. So this was first discovered in a bacteria, in a single cell bacteria. And since bacteria is only single cell, how they are tackling the viruses, the bacteriophages. So we came to know that the bacteria are using some enzymes called Cas9, caspases enzymes, and these enzymes are specifically targeted to, specifically guided to remove the viral genome from the bacterial genome. So this has been well understood by these two scientists, Emmanuel Charpentier and Christopher Dorner. In 2012, they made this groundbreaking discovery about CRISPR. So this can specifically target a genome and this can be utilized. So what is the role of CRISPR? So by the way, for the same discovery in 2020, Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna got their the highest prize in the scientific community. That is, the Nobel Prize has been awarded to the scientist who discovered this CRISPR technique. So that by this prize, we can understand the significance of the CRISPR, the impact of CRISPR on medicine, right? So then we also understood that we can use this CRISPR to, to tamper the human fetus. So if, say for example, I know that my child will get a genetic disorder because I'm also a dominant allele, okay, a dominant carrying person. So there is a chance that my son might get some genetic disorder. Is it possible to remove that abnormal genome from the body? Is it possible? Yes, today it is possible because of CRISPR, right? So with the help of CRISPR, we can able to remove potentially inherited genetic disorders such as sickle cell anemia, Alzheimer's, muscular dystrophy. Many genetic disorders can be treated with the help of this CRISPR-Cas9. So this is really a cautious matter. This is not a good thing actually. So this can potentially rise the rise of designer babies. So there is a chance that we might get a designer babies. That means people can start designing their own babies. Say for example, I might have some designs like my child should have a, he should be 7 feet height, he should be a gym boy, he should have blue eyes. So I can start manipulating his genomes to my designs. So that is possible, and that is one of the cautious thing that we need to be consider when we are trying to implement these processes into embryology or fetal development. So the rise of designer babies will be a really ethical concern. How can we decide the future of the unborns? So that is that potentially raises many ethical issues all over the world, and the unexpected has been already happened. We already know that the China is a celebrity for its controversies, and China made another very heartbreaking news. So the unthinkable happened. So there is a China scientist called He Zhenyunqi. So what he did is he has used CRISPR and he developed gene edited babies. And unfortunately, they are girls and they are twins, by the way. See the consequences. He has used CRISPR and he developed babies, and we don't know what are the unintended mutations happened in the babies. CRISPR is not 100% accurate. I'm telling again. CRISPR is in its infancy stage. CRISPR still making some off-target mistakes. Now, 97% CRISPR can be accurate, but 3% it is still not accurate, and that 3% is sufficient to make any unintended mutations within the human genome, and that can propel into the next generations. So we need to be cautious, and this person has ignored all the warnings and he proceeded with the experiment, and today we have two twins called Lula and Nana. Okay, Lulu and Nana, and we don't know what's happening with them because of privacy and safety considerations. The world kept them quiet, and we don't know what's going on with these kids. These kids has been born in 2018. So you know what is the punishment he received? So he just got a 3 years imprisonment in 2019. So that means today he is outside already. He came out and he is living and he is progressing in this research. So this is really a problem, and we need to address these issues. So we need to have a stringent policies, we need to have a stringent protocols, we need to have a stringent councils, bodies to regulate the science behind this embryology, especially in the field of this fertility matters, right? So yeah, and the India has taken the right approaches at right time. So coming to the Indian situation, so by the way, the summary of hygiene case. So the global outcry has been happened because of these gene edited cases. So there is a many ethical fallouts has been happened. There are broader implements, and many concerns has been raised by many global scientists, and currently he is in the jail and he came outside actually. Okay, just 3 years imprisonment is not sufficient. If this is not in JNQ's hand, maybe some other person might do gene editing. So there must be some transparency, there must be some peer review, there must be some guidelines need to be established in order to keep this technology in the safe hands, right? So for this purpose, the India has been taken the right approaches, and the ICMR, the Indian Council of Medical Research, has intervened in this thing, and it is working on this ART, assisted reproductive technologies, and to maintain regulations. So what is the role of ICMR? So the role of ICMR is it is the key medical council in India. So it will promote research, it will develop guidelines, it will impact the policies, it has the capacity building, and it will have the public health initiatives. Okay, so the significant role of ICMR is guiding medical research and practice in India, ensuring scientific rigor and ethical standards. So ICMR is instrumental in shaping the direction of medical research in India, setting guidelines that ensure ethical and effective medical practices and research, and translating research findings into policy and practice. That is the primary purpose of ICMR establishment. So ICMR has been intervened, and ICMR has drafted a bill, on Indian, this is called surrogacy bill, or assisted reproductive technology bill, has been drafted in 2008, and it took almost 10 years for the bill to pass in the Lok Sabha, 12 years to pass in Lok Sabha. They only passed this bill. Okay, they only passed this bill in 2021, until the mishap happened in China. Until the mishap happened in China, we are quiet. Upon 2018, the mishap, we have understood the significance of this technology, this particular branch in medicine, and we have taken the right directions. So the government has been working with to regulate the art industry since 2008, and when it drafted by ICMR. So what are the key aspects of this bill? So it will try to establish the national board, the state boards and the national registry to regulate, supervise and assist reproductive technology. It establishes ART banks to promote ethical practices. It proposes stringent punishment for those who attempt to control the offspring cell embryos or gametes. As of February 20, there are 512 art clinics on the National Registry of Art Clinics and Banks of India according to ICMR. So anyway, the Surrogacy Act has been passed by the Lok Sabha, a big initiative by the nation at right time. So let us discuss what are the some key aspects of this art bill. What is this Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Act? What does it discusses? So this has been passed. That is really interesting. That is a appreciable thing. So this art regulate services. It seeks to regulate, supervise assisted reproductive technology, clinics and art banks, prevent misuse, adopt safe and ethical practices, and so on. National board. It has proposed a national board and state level boards has been proposed, and it will set minimum standards for physical infrastructure, laboratory diagnostic equipment, expert manpower, and employed by clinics and banks, right? So it has given very stringent punishments whomsoever doing some unethical practices in the domain of this embryology. Okay, it further seeks stringent punishment for practicing sex selection, sale of human embryos or gametes, or found running agencies, rackets, or organizations for such practices will be taken. First time offenders we have 5 to 10 lakhs penalty with 1 year imprisonment. Subsequent contraventions include 12 years of imprisonment with 20 lakhs of fine. And any clinic or bank advertising or offering sex selective arts, they are permanently banned with 10 years of ban, and 25 lakhs of penalty has been given. So yeah, there are some stringent punishments advocated by the Art Act 2021. So there are some need to standardizing protocols. Since there are many labs across the nation, these labs must be standardized. There should be some uniformity and structure to these labs, right? And protecting women and children has been the pivotal importance to the Surrogacy Act. So the oocyte donors need to be supported by the insurance cover. Multiple embryos implementation need to be regulated, and children born through art need to be protected. So these are the some things that are being addressed by the Act Art. And interestingly, there are some concerns over this Act Bill. One of the primary concern is Art Bill also very positive towards LGBT community. So LGBT community can also have kids. That is appreciable. Yes, they deserve to have children. But what is the identity of the children? So the children will be born by art technologies, right? It can be through surrogacy or some other approaches they might born, and this can lead to some issues. The children's identity. What is the children will be treated equally just like others? So this need to be addressed very carefully. So the bill allows for a married heterosexual couple and women to have the age of marriage to have arts, and exclude single men cohabiting heterosexual couples. So obviously by encouraging these things, there won't be any heterosexual activities. So when there is no heterosexual activities, the gene pool will become more congested. So this will be one rising concern. So that need to be addressed. And duplicacy. Both surrogacy and art bills will set up multiple bodies for registration. So since there will be multiple bodies, there will be some duplications and there will be some loopholes, and these loopholes might be exploited for the benefit of the looters, the terrorists, or someone else who want to do illegal activities. So we need to be cautious in order to avoid duplicacies among these multiple registrations, and this need to be closely monitored. And this Act Bill will violate Article 14. So the Article 14 is all about the previous LGBT issue. So Article 14 is the right to individuality, right to equity. Everyone must be treated equally. So by this art bill, these children might be separated as an unique identity, so-called art children. So that is not good actually. We cannot separate any individuals just because of their birth, race, ethnicity, or the type of birth they have. So this need to be addressed, and the article has been silent on Article 14. So this need to be addressed. And the cost of services is another concern. So the cost of services means currently IVF is very costly, and poor people cannot afford to have IVF technology, right? So the cost should be decreased. This should not be limited only to the high class people. It should be available to each and every one of us in order to remove the discriminations or these things. So this needs to be addressed. And yeah, so looking forward, so the clinics must have ethics committees. Mandated counseling services should be implemented. Prior versions of bill regulated research using embryos must be brought back, and definitions, commissions, couple infertility, art clinics and banks need to be synchronized with the bill. All art bodies should be bound together. There should not be any quarrel among these art bodies. They should have friendly relations. They should have foreign states. They should have public orders. They should have decency, and they should have morality whenever they are doing this research. All the constitutional, medical, legal, ethical and regulatory concerns raised by the bill must be reviewed thoroughly before it's making it implemented 100% throughout the nation. So comparing with the old ICMR guidelines with new ICMR guidelines, now previously ICMR is somewhat shy in this doing here. It's not so transparent about this art bill, but today ICMR is very strong at ethical practices. ICMR is very strong at quality control. ICMR is very clear with technological integration, expanding scope of practices, regulatory compliances, surrogacy regulations and data management. Today ICMR is more strong, more transparent and more potential to regulate these practices within the nation, and it will be an overall good to the nation. So the future of embryology. So some of the predictions and trends in the embryology include technological innovations has been happened in this field. The integration of machine learning and artificial intelligence can really improve the embryo selection, and the success rate of IVF will be drastically increased by this. The gene editing advancements such as CRISPR can potentially eliminate inherited disorders in the future, and stem cell breakthroughs can change the future of this embryology. So the potential amendments guidelines need to be addressed. Ethical regulation should be there. Data security should be there. Global harmonization should be there. Not only in nation, throughout the universally these regulations should be guided, and universally there should be some uniformity all across the nations in order to remove any potential bias or mismanagement of these practices. And inclusivity, everyone must be included. Everyone has right to have art, and everyone have right to have children, right? So yeah, so coming to some of the key breakthroughs in the embryology, I have found this video in YouTube. So embryologist made this happen. See, this is an artificial womb where the lamb has been surviving in an artificial womb created by the embryologist. So all these things are possible because of embryology. So this video has been uploaded by Insider Tech on scientists grow lamb fetus inside an artificial womb, uploaded on April 27, 2017. So this is one of the this shows the hope of the field. Okay, so this is the primary role of embryologist. Embryologist can able to understand the developing fetus, and they can able to have a very good understanding about fetal. And I was expecting a future where the avatar can become a reality, right? So in the Avatar movie we have seen that the avatars are in the they are developed in a artificial womb like structures, these aquatic tanks. So yes, this might be possible because the future is multi-planetary. Humans, not today or tomorrow, might be within 100 or 200 years, we will be a multi-planetary civilization. We need to we need to tackle the long space periods, maybe 8 months to even 20 years space period we need to tackle, and we need this technology. Only then our descendants, maybe my grandson, can witness that the people has been landed on some other planets or some other solar systems. Might be possible. So embryologist can make that future possible, and embryologist can make avatar a reality, right? So yeah, there are a quick summary about art technology. So the Art Reproductive Technology Act was passed on December 2021 by the Act of Parliament to regulate the functioning of assisted reproductive technology clinics and art banks in the country. Since the dawn of in vitro fertilization, there has been mushrooming of art clinics in the country. There was need to supervise, regulate and functioning of these clinics, and to safeguard the rights of women undergoing fertility treatments at these centers. The passing of this act will go a long way in the better supervision, regulation, licensing, smooth functioning of art clinics and art banks. The act also brings into its ambient controversial treatments of surrogacy will be harnessed, and this will be addressed by the art bill. So in order to regulate the practice of art clinics and art banks in India, the Assisted Reproductive Act was passed, and the issue of regulation of adoption linked with failure of our treatment will be included. More comprehensive coverage in this act will be covered, and there will be a bright future. So the conclusion is the future of embryology holds exciting potential for medical science, yet it also calls for careful consideration of ethical implications, proactive guidelines, updates to navigate challenges ahead. So these are my references, and thank you very much for joining me in this session. Thank you very much. If there is any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. Thank you very much.